Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a January wrap up for you, kind of. So in the last year I feel like I have become really laid back when it comes to my reading. I don't really stick to a particular genre or a particular author, although I do admit sometimes I do prefer an author more, but I'm not reading just that author. I just happen to pick up books by them more often. But I really feel like I have opened myself up to a lot of different books in the last year. I really do just check out whatever piques my interest at that time. I like to scroll through the Libby app, like genres, and just randomly see what piques my interest. More recently, I've gotten Kindle Unlimited, so I'm always just scrolling through the bestsellers or what's popular now, but not really looking for any specific kind of book. It's just whatever I feel like reading, whatever little blurb or summary that I see that I'm like, oop, that sounds interesting, and I read it. Whether or not I enjoy it is a different story. However, because of this, I noticed that at the end of 2022, I found it difficult to do my yearly recap of favorite and not so favorite books of 2022, because even though in that moment when I was reading that book, it might have been amazing and I felt so strongly about it, because I'm reading so many kinds of different books and books out of my comfort zone, I would forget my feelings for it at the end of the year. And it happened the same with books that I really didn't enjoy, that I had strong opinions about. By the end of the year, I had forgotten about it. And I don't think that's saying that those books were bad or unmemorable. I just have a terrible memory personally. Obviously, for me, I'm not reading a whole ton of books, but I do go through them kind of quickly. I'm always reading something new at work that I find it hard to retain those details, and that's just a personal issue that I have. So I thought that I would do these monthly wrap-up videos, but instead of telling you about every single book that I read in that particular month, I'm just going to mention the ones that I feel very strongly about, whether they were a 5-star read or a book that I just really enjoyed that I want to tell you about, or it was a book that really disappointed me and I'm trying to warn you about so that you are aware of this not so great book. And again, it's not like I read a whole lot, like I couldn't do all of my books in monthly wrap-ups, but I just really don't like to do it. I've mentioned it in a few videos, but I think I am the worst when it comes to summarizing what a book is about, and I probably should do it more often just to better that skill, but I don't want to, so I'm not gonna do it. So I really want to use these monthly wrap-ups just as little reminders for myself when I'm getting ready to recap at the end of the year, but also just because there are books that were memorable in a month, or that again I feel strongly about, but maybe they weren't an absolute favorite, but I still really want to talk about it, so I thought I would do it in this little wrap-up format. I probably will let you know how many books total I read in the month, just so that you can get an idea of, oh wow, she read 10 books in the month and she only really liked one. That must have not been a really great reading month. Hopefully you enjoy these videos and get some recommendations out of them. To kick off the month of January, it is a short one. Not a lot of memorable reads in the month of January. I read a lot of average reads, books that I enjoyed but didn't think very much of. I actually struggled to kind of kickstart my reading goal this year. I don't think I read a book until about mid-January, so I haven't been in a real reading mood. It's slowly picking up, but I do think I was in a bit of a slump at the end of 2022, kickstarting 2023. I read 6 books in the month of January. Like I said, it was a slow start, but I did read 1 book in January that absolutely blew my mind. It was a reread. I originally gave it 4 stars, and to be perfectly honest with you, I remember not feeling so strongly about this book. But after the second reread, I gave it a 5 stars, and I cannot stop thinking about it. And that is A Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is, I believe, one of her first adult or new adult novels. It is a dark academia read, which is probably one one of the first that I've read that I've truly enjoyed. Like I said, I want to say I read this pretty close to when it released because I know it was really popular when it first came out, and I gave it a 4 stars. I personally remember not really loving it, like thinking, okay, yeah, that was good, but not great. And after this second reread in preparation for the second book, Hellbent, I forgot how alluring this book was. Like, it just sucks you in and keeps you there. I cannot wait to read Hellbent. I actually own the second book now, but I am waiting for the audiobook to drop on my Libby app. I have a hold for it because I love the narrator. The narrators for this audiobook are incredible. I think they 100% enhanced my reading experience. I don't think I used the audiobook pairing when I read it originally, and I really do think they just gave it that extra spice for me to really enjoy it. And now for my least favorite portion of these wrap-up videos, trying to tell you what the heck this book is about. So let me read the little blurb that's on the inside of the dust jacket here. It says, "The mesmerizing adult debut from Leigh Bardugo, a tale of power, privilege, dark magic, and murder set among the Ivy League elite." I wouldn't say that really wraps up what this book is about. Let me tell you what this book is about. I know what it's about, but I don't know how to tell you what it's about. I don't even know where to go from here. I have 26 minutes left on this SD card, and it's gonna take me all 26 to get a freaking summary out of my mouth. Do y'all see why I don't do wrap-ups? Ninth House follows Galaxy, aka Alex Stern, during her freshman year at Yale University, the prestigious Ivy League school. The odd thing about this, though, is that Alex is a high school dropout, sole survivor of a horrific unsolved homicide, and she also never applied to Yale. However, Alex has a particular talent that calls the attention of Lethe, a secret organization at Yale. Alex can see dead people, or ghosts, or what people call grays, or the organization calls grays in this book. So as part of Lethe, this hidden secret organization at Yale, Alex is to oversee some rituals by some very popular clubs at Yale, which you may have heard of: Skull and Bones, Scroll and Key, Book and Snake, Wolf's Head, Manuscript, etc. In the Ninth House world, these houses, these organizations actually have true magic, particular magic that, you know, applies to their specific organization. But with that magic comes a lot of dangers, and that's where Lethe kicks in and they oversee, you know, all of these magic rituals. As Alex is trying to learn the ropes of Lethe, a kind of major mishap happens, and she's having to now work her way around being a novice at all of this magic rituals and tombs and things. As if that wasn't enough, her trying to find her footing in this new magical world that she now knows exists, she's also struggling as an actual academic Yale student, trying to figure out what she wants for her life, for her future. And right smack dab in the middle of all of that, there is now a murder. A murder that seems open and shut. We have a suspect in custody, but something about this murder is nagging at Alex. She knows that something about it is not quite right. She's just got to prove it. That was probably the worst summary in the whole world. I feel like I need to personally apologize to Leigh Bardugo and all of the readers of this book. That was an absolute catastrophe. But just trust me, this is such a good book. And even this having been my reread, like I have read this book before, it was like almost like reading it all over again, and it was magical. I knew some about Yale's organizations and clubs, like Skull and Bones, for example. I feel like that's a pretty popular one, so I had heard about them, but I didn't realize there were so many other organizations. And it also just gets you thinking, you know, like, maybe this is happening. Maybe they are digging through people's entrails. That's kind of interesting. But really, all I can say is you should probably give this a read yourself, because my summary was absolute garbage. Give it a chance. Hellbent is out now, so you don't have to wait 3 years, 4 years for the sequel to come out. Lucky you. Like I said, out of 6 books, that's the only book I've got for you, which is not a bad thing. You know, we have average reads, we had a winner, but there were no losers this month. So I'd call that a win in my book. Again, I sincerely apologize for that botched explanation that I just did. Hopefully, as the months go by, maybe by the end of the year, I will be so confident and so good at reviewing books, I'll start doing regular wrap-ups. If you have any tips on how to make wrap-ups a little bit easier for me, do you have a formula that you use? What should I include? What shouldn't I include? Let me know down in the comments. Help a girl out. My name is Elle. I'll see you in next time's video.